Okay. Opening Yabasha for Kwabana in Como. Football is back. Premier League, La Liga, and then the French League Champion matches. You clearly could see said football loving fans after football. Come at day. Football loving fans, they want to enjoy every action. Say na ye pesi krum hade na ya enye say kiyetan fiachi ye babaka ye thousands of people trooping into our various stadia na omonkowe game. I know say with time we'll get there. But over the weekend, my men starting come on from free. Saturday the ABD Liverpool match in the home como, so I will not dwell much on that. But I think that in the Premier League, some clubs are sending positive signals. Actually, say, baby, last season, they want to continue from there. Ebi monswa omandi last season, the omaye edi actually and also say still. And near man bebre. Now I'll start my conversation from Chelsea match or El Crystal Palace. I sat here on Saturday and said, say, I think that Chelsea have what it takes to go and beat club and ask it to stay to home and beat team my friends say Crystal Palace. But watching the game over the weekend, I got to realize that, you see, there are so many coaches be an opponent now or managing it. We don't accord them with the necessary respect that we deserve. I remember perfectly Crystal Palace FA Cup ACO now. So me said me no over here juma ewufi ama me kyerɛ Oliver Glasner ne background baby you free yare a ɛtɔ no nti a football no kwa no ɔgya ne ball ne bɔ ntem o use saa adeɛ no as the catalyst a motivating no ɛma the coaching career or started say o paya from Germany kakra de be Palace adwuma or anyhow or transforming players. Watching him over the weekend kweku semi instro na American the last base 6 matches MIE Premier League Yedeko Realm or the Conference League finals at the ball the club walker from match day 1 ever pinned the final match at Chelsea share PSG game and match the world champions but on also a manage club in his own ability. Clearly, so we a coach now over map up a strategy to put a stop to a Juma Enzo Mares need to make sure they go into the market and get a profile of Levy Cole. Initially, okay, and so Okunuma Edina over team the number show. Joshua Champon gave a very good account at the man who against Crystal Palace over the weekend. But Levy Cole the profile and one missing piece at Chelsea in here from a transition. So production about with Levy Cole and nearby our park is or they offer Edema Club at first Chelsea. Watching the game now, clearly I got to understand that South position and as Andrew, I got to understand that South position Chelsea will be now the two players are now more able Chelsea Trevor Chalobah and then Joshua Champion. These are two fine players and on the day they perform so well for club at first Chelsea. But Levy Cole offer the Chelsea centre backs are who do make obi anibi. Enipa no was sad enibi. Na ye Thiago Silva, Antonio Rudiger no so offer sad and say ye ball the French you will defenders are omo careers of the ball. Otimi kuta ball na progress at the corner nim. But aside to all progress ball na the corner nim when it matters most. On him how to send in that long passes, that crosses and as a long balls and a beating defenders off their line. Now, so our Chelsea match against club of France Crystal Palace. Adia Oliver Glasner, goodness. He understood that Chelsea team no. Levy Cole will anywhere obey my man Intiano number 1, the first missing piece in the Chelsea team. Number 2, Adia Chelsea then they said almost 2 laterals no. The number 2 and the number 3. Bakube invertia become Fifino, and that is Michael Correa. He's one player who does Sardine into perfection. Obesem Fifia. He pushes around here friends Kupama and Enzo Fernandez high above the pitch. Now Moises Caicedo, Ayobi, Onini Jiran Fifia, all your dirty work. No. These two players move into the spaces, normal creative space, and the amount attackers and the wingers now on where anymore. So coach they decided say anywhere you see Marco Correa, you see 2 players following him. Irrespective of baby offer. So moving free the left back position started or integrated into the center of the game. And you will see 2 players marking around your friends and Marco Correa. They make him useless. we and another player who here at Chelsea set up Kopama because of how brilliant and skillful he ultimate drop eba mfimfin obaje ball now with 1-2 passes he run at the shoulders of defenders no creative space or yes Jumana Enzo Fernandez positioned himself at the right place oje ball now not also located the wingers now operating into omo so he positioned players on them baby Kopama before be a player dinechi baby Enzo Fernandez before be obi dinechi ni enjoy Moses Caicedo mfimfin Caicedo na adwuma dey dirty work. He is not very good passer of the ball. Or ensure that any vision for quality long balls and incisive passes or they break the lines of Crystal Palace. Until onya sa 3 players and say they are done. Omo operate to Chelsea team no money. He realized adwuma na si. The advantage ananka Chelsea benyan Levi Cole and say e ba say mfimfin ya stop o man. He is that player oje ball now when the Chelsea midfielders are not doing the job. You see the wings no. It's Yabobo Naba, who progress about 1, 2, 3. He will see either Pedro Neto running. And now say whoever over the other side. In this case, Neye Gittins and now over later on, and other the small boy, Estevao William Ebai. And he say Levi Cole, you will see him say with the stretching passes no 1, 2, 3 o progressive man him you do center circle obasuma ball no and there are 2 defenders in that case because of the pace of Abrante friends Pedro Neto and then Jimmy Gittins are airborne they will be able to create that space or yes Jumana they have a brilliant striker in the shape of João Pedro who will run at the shoulders of defenders now creating space for Kopama or by arriving later in the game but when you saw there no until if you finish breaking no na Juman dead for club at first just and I think that I'll say you bought Oliver Glasner so how he was able to read the Chelsea team understood our game plan and was able to map up a strategy what even neutralize it maybe at Chelsea it work into perfection or the other 1 point ADF and I think that we have baby will free and they come for us to say Man City ever say Liverpool the community shield and was signed Chelsea about was away I was Stamford Bridge at 4 point in Kweku yen for the flowers and famano. He deserves every praise that Obi Edebemano. A dear back up and a habit. I can't pay 2 weeks. Near close to transfer. Quickly, a real match. There was a video on about Ken Ayan stories no or the my. Our friend the captain McGee and Fino. A very easy a poor match no. Okobon in some Emma supporters in Jesse a point and Ediche. A lot of tablet air report to say a goodbye for McGee. A goodbye for a very easy. Kwekusa wo Juma na o maye from last season any baby a o first match science na o de akere na e Kobase or Messi those 2 important players the captain and the deputy at the later part of the transfer I think that a holiday setback is here ever break Crystal Palace san Kobane sa near close to transfer no now who say these 2 players as stay e will say who's Parker Kweku say ye book clubs ye be ball mudi in the discussion say ombet me pushy and knocking the door of the top 5 and answer the top 4 I see a consider club at first Crystal Palace they have what it takes to compete and compete very well and they have a solid goalkeeper in Dean Henderson or the Ponuma you clearly could see how comfortable are ye organizing the back line in terms of say on providing saves and one team now he does that into perfection I think that over the weekend teams need be as you say in Kitwani be cry any good results but my team of the weekend in the Premier League I'll go for Oliver Glasner and the Crystal Palace team how they were able to give a very good account of themselves now the controversial decision about game no more once a man for AD come now in the stories of Luther and upon any we're making reference to the law 13 a Casadefa free kick no Premier League for them run on the air Juma say ball no say ye kick free kick not the opposing team the elbow kick no defenders now oma form me wall say oh yeah 1 meter away from omo away from the wall now your ball now say but say oh yeah 1 meter less from the wall it's considered say your interference it might result into confusing or blocking defenders any goalkeeper now in the video kick now is a boy you clearly could see say the position of McGee and the call for us Enzo was the Moses Caicedo. Number 1, position no that 1 meter less no. Number 2, or same pushy player no from a positioner saying Caicedo age now can be born a fire. Point number 3, pushing him away a distracted goalkeeper or that pool in that case a foul. Ma who say nkofo bebre cancer Chelsea Robbie or Palace for any complain. He said, say na ubia interpret him right to sue them. Kweku, rules are rules. But said the American Liverpool the no ha na no Saturday. Say kweku ade ni sin ne. Na mu gini say ya ochina say predict ya obi a we want the same interpretation. Ade a Premier League for nye ho ade consistency in omo decision making. Ene one who say ya gidi etia Crystal Palace. Omo de mra na beto kama amaye. Ochina Crystal Palace ebetima akwa akonya bi etia omo a obi abotim kese bi di ahye omo na referee akwa akoje. Ube wi ase no ube kan ye be say ba ma another rule any article to favor omasem. The inconsistency in decisions of Premier League, it is something I think that I was our web and then call for an ethnicity to make sure say ye ko ye nimu season we no va no any near ba be is sa and yemano. The explanation interpretations are say referees no communicating more be at no one. I think that assembly see you know referee no question van we obema the interpretation. Most people at the stadium any year now na year show with TV no we were okay with the explanation. Ye we match and then commentary after match started generating and yema. So like I said, they should be consistent. We will visit this before the end of first round. Ubi the bibe show be go.
And over cry incident and buy my gay after said referee the area and call referee no one is on the referee didn't come on or church any near my be any so near the other. We are also on
Chelsea. We'll be back. We say yeah more first round we obi be say bisa ye beji go.
Well it seems I say mad the one errors no dozen. Woman no be no convince me say Saliba attack no ko any penalty.
Now even what do you mean Russell and my real Chelsea for Nejuman Kweku say ye did the big game on Koma. You see Manchester United won. But who say and pay me buy general manager Saki and Manchester phone ni na anas mo mani age. Adan o ma yade. Okumaba beka game no nkomo ade achiro but Mama me Jose Mourinho favorite coach who we are now the Mikel Arteta asem de amame Mourinho e kan se bi fa emra na Frank Lampard the coach Chelsea Lampard ebe kan say the Chelsea team na fe de omobo match for so call matches twice no win the match but na game na fe Lampard we are and they played very well omo try say results ebeba or say when you start accepting defeat just because your team played very well and just because your players gave their best, a performance for people to be proud of, I think when you get used to this, that is when a big club stops being a big club. This is Jose Mourinho addressing Frank Lampard and in the Chelsea then time. Paul match and Trano. I've listened to the commentaries, the post-match, whatever everybody is saying, what Ruben Amorim is saying, what Manchester United fans are saying, and may the Amorim Adibi Ama production. I think the most important thing is we were not boring. I think we clearly deserve a different result. I am proud for the game we played, but we lost. Amorim say, "Oh, you're proud. Omo match na nye boring. Na nye say na one same bibiri." Manchester fans they say they played a very good game, but omo lose. When you go back to Mourinho asem na, e ho na me Manchester for what problem. United should be challenging themselves that when they lose, they will not accept defeat. The moment you start accepting defeat, any ball but you lose ball I think that number one is boring. You're more than boss any Matthias Cunha, you say, what's the name of the other player? Mokoto and by where you say. The moment you start doing that, that is when you lose your identity as a big club. So I was start to say, accepting defeat as a big club. What free status of being a big club and you are becoming a normal club or an average club. Crystal Palace, everything you lose so much. No, I can't say, Everton can say that. West Ham United can say that. But Manchester United, Liverpool, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Chelsea, those teams are big clubs and they don't accept defeat. O status never man. It Manchester should walk away from shadows. No, Muslim say, Yabobola, I agree. Not born effect. They were positives. But you cannot tell me, say, coach, what about 28 matches? We're losing as many as 16. We're winning just 7 games or the 6 games, and we draw the Aka. That coach loses a game. And to think that and draw defeat in the Ebeka 1, the defeat number 11 or so, and now 10, Old Trafford. How many matches no Wabufi? More lose as many as that game. And they sign hard when they say Mikel Arteta or that screen is should be somebody at Manchester for any worried about. Prior to Mikel Arteta, say all about Arsenal. Now Arsenal for Old Trafford, among far results. They lose, but opening way before Arsenal. Or the Old Trafford now in the field. He works there every time, every day. Pick 3 maximum points, no DP. Manchester United should be concerned about those things. That is why they are a big club. They should be able to compete. They should be able to do things to resist defeat. But Ubo we now because Ubo na boy nefe. You niaji okay with that because you lose the game. No, but you need be you are moving from being a big club to a smaller club, and I think they deserve better. They should not accept that. Aside that, open here friend said Roy Keane a blasted that attitude. Any Bruno Fernandes, Monsabo Makadia for team. Like I said, Manchester United should be encouraging themselves. Kweku, born now, Michelle. Say me na me Ruben Amorim. And can we resource no? Maximum Meka and yes, say Bobola FA. Can Maximum Meka say with this resource, it should be able to tell the board name and conference I need 2 players. United are 2 signings away from competing for the Premier League title.
Why no wine?
Number 1, Manchester Finfin. Kweku, mon cancer Manchester for so mon jai pepe me no can say we will hasati di usu. So 120 na Brighton for ne pa omunko tua no monje Carlos Baleba. United are a defensive midfielder. Let me put a quality one at that, and then a solid goalkeeper away from competing.
Oh, the Gigi Donnarumma.
I was say omunko tua 26 ne fa Donnarumma de neba. No mu 300 and something ne efa Baleba. If Manchester any these 2 players ebe come with him no ball na me share and run and until no many aje ka say omo ball na efe. It is true. They played so well. Matthias Cunha, Brian Mbeumo, solid performance. New striker nearby, Benjamin Sesko. Man said that Muni Kessié Bibri, but I'll pardon him because I failed while my pre-season with the club. The first match and so I'll give him time. But Kuni, I dear hard you know Manchester and run up my also. Do you know that we could post Ferguson? Manchester United, with the arrival of Benjamin Sesko, has spent £1 billion on only strikers.
That's our VB for
post Alex Ferguson. United are spending £1 billion on strikers alone. Now, in my room, so our strikers now Manchester only 2, and then 20 goals plus for Manchester. 20 goals plus. Yes, or season back on 20 entire career of Manchester. Marcus Rashford, Romelu Lukaku, or more marketing than none. Anything Manchester 20 goals.
Rashford's also crying play on.
Mr. Anthony Massa, sorry, Anthony Massa, yeah. Anthony Massa and the Romelu Lukaku. These are the only 2 players post Ferguson. Strikers at Manchester after almost 20 goals plus. And I repeat, almost 20, and yes, sir, almost 20 in a single season. Almost career no Manchester 20 goals plus. Almost marketing now below. And almost spending $1 billion our market, and it should be something Manchester and worry about. Striker no modina ban. The last club no boy and so ban. The goals neck where wears a 13
games or so.
Say Manchester United and when I got was but like I said, they are 2 players away from competing and competing very well.
But Kokuva Asimra, name is Joe Carries and also there. Hey, now they we there. But I'm only you. I'm only, but also any do not join any idea.